Hey peoples, and welcome to the latest Zenith update. This one is for 2026 in general, stuff that I'll be doing, stuff that's going to be happening on the channel and all that sort of McGuggins. McGuggins, is that a word? It is now. This is basically just going to be a video recap of my latest public post on my Patreon page. So I put that out a few weeks ago, so if you've read that, there's no more new information here, but if you didn't read that, then watch along. This update is a lot less produced than the one I did for the Silent Hill Lazarus information, so because I ain't got a great deal to say, it's not going to be too long. So there's some video game footage down there if you get bored of looking at me, and the other screen will detail stuff that I'm talking about as I'm going forward. This is pretty much unscripted. I'll be referring back to the post, so there's going to be a bit choppy as I forget what I'm saying and all that sort of wonderful stuff. So first and foremost, I would like to say hello to all the new subscribers we have on the channel. Over the last couple of months, we finally cracked 1,300 subscribers. I know that's not a big number in the realm of YouTube, but it's a very big number for this channel. I wouldn't call myself a content creator. I'm a filmmaker, and making films takes time, and if those are short films or proof of concepts, then you will see them on the channel. But if they're feature films, then they're going to end up on Blu-ray on my store, or fingers crossed on streaming networks going forward, but we'll just see how that all plays out. So a bit of housekeeping before we move on. I did mention the store. So this channel isn't monetized. It used to be, and then some idiot made a video in a Japanese forest and YouTube changed all the goalposts. I have enough subscribers, but I don't have enough watch time. I think you have to have something like 4,000 hours a year watch time, and I cracked just over 2,000 hours. If I had more stuff on the channel, then maybe I could hit that watch time, but making the things that I want to put on the channel takes time. I did try and break up the flow with gameplay footage of me from Twitch, but I don't think anyone's on this channel here to watch me play video games, so I kind of stopped doing that. I've had a few other ideas, thinking about maybe doing sort of 60-second film reviews for shorts, but you know, I'll see how it goes. So the way Zenithfilms makes money is via Patreon. So if you wanted to be a patron of Zenithfilms, that's available to you. Tiers start from $1 a month, and you get special perks based on which tier you go for. And the other way that the other way Zenithfilms makes money is via our Etsy store. So just a few things I want to clear up about the Etsy store that I mentioned in the last update. I was trying to sell t-shirts, and I was wonderfully showing them off and didn't sell a single one. So I've pulled the t-shirts from the store because there's no point paying a listing fee for stuff that people don't want. The posters have been selling very well, so I'm going to be adding more posters to the store, more of a selection. Blu-rays are doing well. The storyboard book for Silent Hill Requiem are doing well, so I'm going to take the storyboard for Jennifer Smells of Rot, turn that into a book. It's going to be a shorter book because it's a shorter storyboard, but anything that people might want. I've noticed that generally people buy the Blu-ray for Requiem and also might then pick up the storyboard book, but some people have just bought the storyboard book, so I mean, if that's helpful to up and coming filmmakers, then great. Unless people are trying to secretly remake Requiem behind my back, good luck for that. One new thing that I hope to have on the channel by March, April time is my Nancy Wake comic. I've always wanted to make a comic, and I had a Nancy Wake short film that me and Alwyn filmed way back in, I think it was 2011. Is when I started working with Alwyn. It was one of the two projects we first filmed together, and it got sidelined because of bigger projects, and then when I finally got back to it, I kind of wasn't happy with the narrative that I kind of created for it, and I wanted to kind of embellish upon it, and rather than do reshoots and refilm it, I was like, well, I could use this for this first comic idea. So Nancy Wake, it's a prequel to Violet Rain, which is a short film on the channel that you can watch right now if you wish. And yeah, I wanted it on the store last year, but I had a real issue trying to find a reliable printer. You know, I'd send it to companies, said that, oh yeah, we print comics, and then they'd send me back a sample and there were missing pages, or pages were blank, the printout didn't look very good. Even though I'd followed their templates, they'd chop things off and stuff. It was a nightmare. But I think I finally found a printer that is reliable, so I should have them on the store March, April, and I'm hoping that the first 10 copies will be signed by Olwyn, for those people that care about that sort of stuff. And yeah, the latest addition to the store is the Dames of Zenithfilms calendar. 12-month calendar, obviously, featuring pictures of all the wonderful actresses that I have worked with on past projects, present projects, and projects in the future. Majority of the pictures are of Olwyn, unsurprisingly, but there are other actresses in there as well. It's being done via Vistaprint, which allows me to update the months as I print them, so you can buy the calendar any time of the year and it will start from the month that you picked it up, because no one's going to want to buy a calendar that starts in January if it's June. I've sold 3 of them so far, so you know, it's doing better than the t-shirts did. So yeah, there's probably going to be a card or a link somewhere. There'll be a link to the store down below, so if you fancy a stylish calendar, there you go. And I think that pretty much brings us up to date on housekeeping. I'm going to check the post now, so I'm going to cut it here. Addendum: I am also thinking of adding a new Blu-ray to the store this year, where I'm going to collect all my short films and put them together as a sort of collection with makings of and director's commentary and some behind the scenes sort of stuff that I may or may not have for those films, going all the way back to 2010 up to present time. So it will be Bonnie and Clyde with Rob Banks all the way up to Syndicate Wars Hostile Takeover. So I'm going to try and upscale some of my older films, because like some of my very early films were filmed in standard def, so I'm going to see if I can raise them up to at least 720p. I won't be using AI to do it, because I mean, if everyone saw what James Cameron did to Terminator and Aliens, you know that AI is not good for that. I'm going to try and do it by hand. And yeah, so probably the last quarter of the year I'll probably get that done, because I'm trying to find time to do the makings of. Director's commentary is easy. I just need to watch it and waffle on like I'm doing now. But that is basically the store. So if you want to help me and Zenithfilms and my films financially, Patreon or the store, or if you just want to give us a tip, there's links down in the description for that. Okay, so let's move on. So what's coming next to the channel in terms of film stuff? This March, fingers crossed, and you'll know why as I start waffling on, I will be releasing the proof of concept for Where in the Universe is Carmen Sandiego. I mentioned in the last Zenith update that I was going to be releasing it literally the month after that update came out, and then they announced a new Carmen Sandiego video game was coming out that month. So I figured, well, fans who I'm going to be relying on to turn the proof of concept into a feature via crowdfunding are going to probably put their money more towards an official product than a fan-made product. And I'm not making these fan films to step on the toes of the actual IP holders or anything like that. I'm just trying to make extra stuff when it feels like that franchise has gone quiet. Like what I did with Requiem, it seemed as if Konami had abandoned Silent Hill, so I thought that was the probably right time to make something Silent Hill related. Though I only ever planned to make a short film, and then that exploded into actually doing a crowdfunder and that being successful and making a feature film. But now, of course, Konami are on the horse, going to give us a Silent Hill game every year. See how that turns out. But hey, Silent Hill fans are eating well, and that's a good thing. So it looks like the field for Carmen Sandiego has gone quiet again. Game's been out for a while. I think it did well. It doesn't seem to have a lot of reviews on Steam, but I know it was also released on Netflix on their gaming channel or whatever it is. So I don't know, but unless they announce anything new Carmen Sandiego related in the next month or so, the proof of concept for Where in the Universe is Carmen Sandiego and its crowdfunding pitch will be releasing this March. The videos will be on the channel. At first it will be the pitch with the proof of concept at the end of it, and then once the crowdfunder's over, I'll just release the proof of concept standalone. If it's successful, then we'll be looking to start filming Where in the Universe is Carmen Sandiego next year. If it's not successful, then I have a pitch idea for a Tomb Raider, a feature film, though of course we now have a Amazon TV show on the horizon, so I'll obviously wait to see what goes on with that, to whether I think it's even worth doing a crowdfunding pitch for a Tomb Raider feature film, fan film of course. If and when we do that and that's successful, then we'll start filming it the following year. If not, then I've got a crowdfunding pitch idea for a Syndicate Wars feature film. Syndicate Wars Hostile Takeover is the last short film I released on the channel. This was back 2023, I believe, and it's done surprisingly well. People really like it. A lot of positive attention, lots of really nice comments from people. And one of my patrons said to me, "Well, you ever thought about turning it into a feature film?" And I was like, well, I don't really have an idea. The short film was the idea, But a week later, I'm walking home from the store and the idea just came to me. Just popped into my head. Oh, this would work as a Syndicate Wars feature film. And that's kind of how it happens with me. Just all of a sudden inspiration hits from nowhere. And so I rushed home and wrote it all down, and I read it to a few people and they agreed that could work as a feature film. So if Karma's not successful, and depending on when I do Tomb Raider, I will do the crowdfunding pitch for a Syndicate Wars feature film, and we'll see if we can raise money to make that. If that's not successful, I have now come up with an idea for a sequel to Splatterhouse Jennifer Smells of Rot, imaginatively called Jennifer Smells of Rot 2 at the moment, and this will take place after the bad ending of Splatterhouse Part 3. So if you've played Splatterhouse Part 3 on the Mega Drive, or the Genesis for those of you across the pond, you've got several endings, and one of the bad endings is everybody dies apart from Rick. So I was thinking I could then pick up from there and do another Jennifer Smells of Rot. And this time I would like to get enough money so that I could actually do practical effects, obviously in Jennifer Smells of Rot that's already on the channel and available on Blu-ray on my Etsy store. All of the gore and stuff is digital. Now I wanted to do it practical, but I didn't raise enough money. But if I could raise enough money for a sequel, I'd like to get enough money to, get some proper blood and gore on set, so make it nice and gory as is to be expected of a splat film. So yeah, so if none of those are successful, then I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But I've got plenty of ideas for crowdfunding film projects going forward. In terms of my own personal projects, I tend to film them out of my own pocket because I don't think the general movie-going audience are going to care about what I'm doing by myself until I release a film that's my own that is successful. Then people might care. But at the moment, I think people are going to probably fund my fan projects over my own personal projects. So that's why I do it that way. So yeah, so look forward to the proof of concept for Carmen Sandiego, Where in the Universe is Carmen Sandiego, on the channel this coming March. So in regards to what have I got filming this year, I said in the last Zenith update about starting a Lazarus that we were going to start filming Lazarus at the end of last year. Olwyn then got in contact with me and asked if we could postpone. She has recently become a mother, and she felt that she wasn't in the right headspace or in the right physicality, shall we say, to take on quite a demanding project. I mean, she plays two of the main characters in Lazarus. 80% of the movie is her. It's going to be a grueling project for her, so I want her to be mentally and physically fit before we move on with that. She said this year, so I'm just waiting for her to get in touch, and then we shall film. Hopefully it will be start of this year, sometime between now and June. I don't tend to film July, August and begin September because it just gets too hot. My studio is basically a tent at the back of my garden, and in the summer it gets sweltering in there, and then you've got loads of light being flooded on you on top of that because it's green screen. So if not, then it'll be the usual time that me and I will film, which is usually October, November time. So you'll know when I know. Other things I'm going to be filming this March or maybe April, I've got a bit of extra filming to film for my personal project TLE and for my other personal project Lyark. And then once all that's done filming, I can start looking at what I need to do in terms of editing. In terms of my day-to-day, I am now fully back on to editing Episode. Episode was a short film that I made back in 2012 that did really well, got into Rain Dance, and I am now turning that into a feature film. I've already edited about 20-30%, so I'm going to crack on with that in hopes of getting it finished this year, and then that's going to hit the festival circuit. Hopefully it'll get into some film festivals, and then I'm going to hit up the streaming services, see if I can get it on something like, I don't know, Tubi, Shudder. You know, hey, I might even, knock on Netflix door, who knows. But then if not, it'll just end up on Blu-ray on the Etsy store. Outside of the editing, I have also got a few new screenplays that I want to crack on with. Currently they're just sort of synopsis and ideas, and then I kind of want to, that's how I kind of do my screenplays. I come up with an idea, I make a synopsis based on that idea, then I randomly just come up with sort of scene ideas and bits of dialogue, just want to build the characters, and then from that I will make the screenplay. So first one is a movie called Kill Switch, which is a cyberpunk thriller. And the elevator pitch is, just bear with me because I can't remember offhand what it is, set in the distant future. A female cop goes off book to try and solve the issue of why the synthetic workers have developed a crippling disease. So I'm going to write the screenplay for that this year. The other idea is called The Bureau 1953, and the elevator pitch for that, it's a noir detective thriller. And the elevator pitch for that is an FBI agent a few days from retirement is made to babysit the most recent female recruit, which he laments, until they stumble across what can only be described as an alien invasion. Aliens from space. And I'm going to be turning that into a full screenplay as well. So they're going to be two new personal projects for me to film. Olwyn is going to be in them, hopefully. I have mentioned them to her. She'll be playing the female cop, and she'll be playing the female recruit in Bureau, and I'll probably be playing the grizzled retiree agent, because I am getting old, so I can pull off old man, because I am an old man. And that pretty much brings you up to date on what is going on with me, with Zenithfilms, and what you're going to see on the channel going forward. So not a huge amount of content. I refuse to call my films content, but there's going to be stuff. I'll probably do some more mood pieces, taking clips from Requiem and Splatterhouse and any other film, and then putting them to a bit of music and making something that's vibey. But for the most part, I'm going to be beavering away on the films that I need to get done so that I can try and make some money. So yeah, I will leave that with my current. I leave that with a thanks to my current patrons over on Patreon. You can see their names down below. I can't remember which side the screen's going to be, but one of the sides. I'd like to again thank all the new subscribers and the consistent subscribers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my films and enjoying what I do. And that pretty much is it. So I hope this has found you all well and safe. And as always, all the best.